All right, guys, it's Jerry here. Last night we went out, shot three coyotes. Did get the two with the call, and we shot one over bait. So one of them was mangy. I won't be able to skin that one. But the two others are in excellent shape. So I'm gonna go ahead today. You can see the coyote in the background right there. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how it's skinned. Hopefully it'll be helpful if you guys want to do it yourself. All right, thanks guys. All right, you guys can see here I got the coyote strung up on the winch. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a cut right here on the back leg. You know, I like these piranha knives. I'm using one right here. Obviously, the blade's a little dull. I'm gonna have to go ahead and replace it. But go ahead and make your cut all the way around the leg. Just make sure you don't cut too far through the back tendon, or else when you're skinning it, you're pulling the skin down. Half the leg meat comes with it, and it's just makes it a lot harder to get done. But I'm gonna go ahead and change out this knife blade. It's a little dull, so we'll be back in a minute. All right, we're back. Got a new blade. This is gonna make life a little easier for us. So like I said, I'm gonna go careful around that tendon. And if you cut it, it's not that big of a deal. Just like I said, makes it a lot harder to skin, but because you're pulling the whole leg meat down. All right, so we got that leg done. I'm gonna winch this up a little more. It's a little low. All right, we got it where we need it now. Go ahead. Go ahead, start right up toward the tail. The end of the tail here, you start right by the anus. You make your cut, and then you just basically follow this change in hair color here all the way up the leg like this. And obviously, the sooner you skin these coyotes after you kill them, the easier they are to skin. However, we got in at about 3:30 in the morning, and I wasn't going to skin it last night, so went to sleep, get up in the morning, and I'm going to skin it now. So go ahead and just get a little bit of the back leg skinned here, just like this. Okay, peel that skin back. You know what? You don't have to do too much. You can get right here. Okay. Make sure that skin's all separate. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pull the skin by hand. You know, we can get that skin pretty much all the way down. Okay, just pulling it. And you can see if it sticks, obviously, which it is here a little bit. And we gotta go back to the knife. So go back to the knife. Just be careful. You know, cut the meat away from the skin. Don't get too crazy with the knife, or else you'll cut through the skin, and then that's just more sewing that's got to be done. So we don't want to do that. Go ahead, skin this here, all the way down. Once you get enough of the leg down, the skin, you can go ahead and pull some more. So it should be about enough right now. So I should be able to pull more of it down. Just get a good grip on it, pull, and you can see how a coyote, it doesn't have a lot of fat on its body like a coon. That makes it a lot harder to skin, especially if you wait. If you did this right away while the animal was warm, it wouldn't have been such a big deal. But since I waited, it makes it a little harder. Again, we're careful here with the knife. Again, got it down here. Pull some more. What you can do too is you can use your fist, put it like this, and then you can push down. You sometimes get more strength on it, but there, it's done. And then once you're down here to where it's even with the tail, you're finished with that leg. Okay, so then you go ahead. This is what I typically do. I'll put my other leg on like this. You know, I might have to lower the winch just a bit, but we'll see if I can do it. I'll get it right up here like this. I'll put the leg through. Oh, not working as easy as we like. Okay, right here, just like this. Get the leg through. Let it tighten up. And once I have that leg in, I just go ahead and take this leg out. This way it's out of my way, like it's sitting here. And then what I do is get the knife again. And now we gotta go the same process up the other leg. Again, you don't have to go that deep into the meat, because the more that you cut the meat, the more that it wants to peel with the skin. So the less you cut it, obviously, the better. Okay, so you go all the way up to here. Now I didn't cut this one first, so now I'll have to cut it around just like this. Again, mindful that you don't cut the tendon. Just rub your knife, gently across that tendon. If you have a sharp knife, it'll cut the skin, so you can get it going. All right, so now I got this cut here. So all I'm gonna do is, again, I'm just gonna use my knife to pull the skin away from the leg here. I just need to get it started. You can see how that is, just like that. And then here, again, same thing on the other side. Don't have to go very much. Okay, just get it started. And then flip it around. And I got right here, the front of the leg, separate it. Okay, just pull down on the skin. Now take your knife out of your hand, because see how I'm holding it like this? If I slip, I'm gonna end up stabbing myself in the face. Put your knife down. Always have a handy spot to put your knife down. Okay, then pull that skin. And you can see it's pulling nicely. Okay, right here. Gotta make some cuts with the knife just to separate the skin a little bit. Here again, you can see. And if you do make a cut through the skin on this part of the leg, it's not really used all that much by, the fur buyers. I mean, they're using pretty much the back of the coyote. So you get that done here again. And I'll pull some more. You can see it's pulling. Okay, you can see I just pushed down on it. And it came pretty free. Okay. This part right here, in between the back legs, you don't have to go any further than this, because what you're gonna end up doing here is cutting that off anyway, right? It's you don't need that on the coyote. So again, just we got to get right here by the back of the leg. That's pretty tight in there. So we do that, a little cut, and then pull it down again. And you can see that we're almost. Maybe I didn't make the cut initially. There, hold on. Let me go back in here. Sometimes if you don't get the cut all the way, obviously you just got to go back and redo it. You'll know it right away because the skin won't want to peel. Okay, so then you can see here, I've got the skin peeled back to about even with the back of the legs, the hip, and then that's it. Now this part here, you leave on the coyote, and you don't care about this either, the anus. You just make a cut right here, going across the tail. Don't go too deep, because if you cut the tail, then you have a potential when you're stripping the tail to tear the tail, to break the tail off. And then if the tailbone gets stuck in the coyote fur, it's a lot harder to get it out, because then you got to do manual cuts, everything else to get it out. It's not all that easy. Okay, so we just got to get this separated right here. Be careful too, you don't want to cut through the gut sac, because if you do, it stinks and then it's messy. But you can see I've got this pulled down here. Okay, cut this away. You don't need it. That's it. Okay, you can pull the penis down through here, just like this, and then you make your cut right here like that, and then that stays with the animal. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, I'm not a very skilled videographer here, so it may not be the best video, you know, with close-ups and all, but just kind of giving you the idea on how to do it. Okay, now once I've got the legs like this, where they're skinned out, and I have the tail here, I can put this leg back up. And that's what I'm gonna do, because then it's not, you know, getting stuck on everything, which is a pain in the butt. Okay, so we get it on there. All right, and there she is. She's back hung up. Oh, get a little drink of coffee. All right. Whoops, almost lost my coffee. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and continue now. All right, what I gotta have to do now is I have to skin the tail out. So I'm just gonna take my knife. I'm gonna, you know, just get this a little bit further down here, right here. You wanna be careful. All you wanna do is you wanna separate the skin so you can get underneath the tail, okay? That's it. Very simple. I'll get under the tail. And this is a good coyote last night, had good fur. You know, you want to look at your coyotes, obviously, when you get them. If they don't have good fur, trust me, don't skin them. And by good fur, I mean this. If it's got rubs on the back, if it's missing a lot of neck hair, you know, don't skin them unless you just want to give them away to somebody, because you're not going to get any money for them, you know, from the fur buyers. All right, then I can take my, I've got this piece of rebarb here, okay? Just sharpened to a point. Comes in handy for quite a few things while you're skinning. And right now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push it through the membrane over here, okay, between the tail and thing, and the back. And then I can do is I can pull that down, then I don't have to use my knife. And you can see I open this up right here, and it makes it easier for me to get the tail out without making a mistake. So now what I do is I just hold the tail here at the back of the tail, or I should say the top of the tail, and I cut the bottom. And I just hold it real tight with the hair, and then I just take my knife and I just go by feel, and I stay right on top of the tail. You don't want to miss the tail, because if you do, you'll cut your hand. Okay, and then that's it. I go as far as I can, and then, you know, I maybe not, you know, because I'm cutting through hair here, I may have not gotten all the way through. So once I've got the initial cut, or indentation at least with the blade, then I just kind of pull the hair back like this. I pull it back, and then I continue to make my cut, okay? And you're gonna cut some hair, that's all right. I mean, unless they're making hats or some kind of novelty thing, nobody cares about the tail. Just nice to have it on the coyote when you're done skinning it. Gives it a nice presentation. Okay, so there you go. So I got the tail, I cut it to about here, you know, and there's this much tail left. So what's that, about a half the tail, maybe a little less than half the tail. That's all you need. And then what you do is you take your knife, let me bring it up. It's nice having a winch, because then you can bring your coyote up to working level. Makes it a lot easier to do your skinning. So once I got that up there, all I'm doing is I'm just working around the skin here like this, okay? Just pulling the skin down with the tail, off the tail, I should say. Slowly, just working my way down. You don't want to cut too deep into the tail, because if you do, and like I said, you cut the tail too much, when you go to strip it with your tail stripper, you can actually tear the tail. And then if you tear the tail, the bone gets stuck inside the tail, and you can't get it out without a lot harder work. and the fur then can, or the tail can spoil, and then the fur over that spoiled area will end up falling out. And you know, like I said, they don't use a tail much, but it just shows that you didn't really do a very good prep on the animal, and then fur buyers may knock you down. All right, so then once you get the tail to that point, you got your tail strippers. This is what they look like. All right, these are aluminum ones, so they're pretty nice. Don't buy the plastic ones. I mean, I never had a pair, but I'm assuming they'll probably break. These aluminum ones are nice, and they're not that much more money. What you basically do is you take it, you put it over the tail, get the tail in one of these holes right here. You see that hole right here? So you basically put it over the tail like this, boom, and then you pull it down, okay? So what you do is this. Get the tail on there, like the stripper on there, hold it with your hand like this, okay? And then you hold the tail, boom, and you pull, and you just pull, and then the tail comes out, okay? It's pretty simple. Looks a lot harder than it is. You know, people are always afraid to do that. They think it's gonna be hard. And then what I do is I have this little piranha knife here, another one. It's got the gut hook blade on it. What that does allows me to get inside the tail right now and finish skinning all the way to the end of the tail. And since it's bent over and it's not sharp here, you don't have any problems with you know, cutting through your tail, the backside. A little more coffee. All right, so now we got to here. Go ahead and take your knife. You just put it in there and just make your cut all the way to the end. And you can see that, you know, we got cut here all the way to the base of the tail. Is what you want. You don't want this tail to be closed off, because if it is, again, you can get spoilage. You're not going to get good skin drying. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have a tail that part of the hair falls off. Okay, once you know, we get that done, the tail's skinned. Now it's pretty much getting the body skin to the front legs. So you know, you can do this by pulling again. What we'll do is we'll make some cuts here just to get the skin a little further down. The stomach skin's pretty thin right here. Okay, so we get here. The back skin's not this thick, you know, but the front of the, or the body, the stomach of the animal is pretty thin. Okay, so once we're down here, I mean, we're probably gonna be able to pull it. Let's see if we can. So what I do is I just basically fold it over, and then so I can hold it better, and then I pull. Same thing here. Just kind of go, and then I get to push down with my fist. Same thing here. Okay, if you're pulling meat with it, don't worry. I mean, because you're gonna have to flesh the hide anyway. And when you flesh the hide, all that comes off. Okay, so right here, see how I just roll this up? Then I just take my hand, I put my fist in there, use your knuckles to push down. Okay, here's the front of the animal. Sometimes, like I said, this animal's still warm. You know, you don't wanna wait, especially if it's hot out, you don't wanna wait too long to skin a coyote. Because what will happen is this part of the belly here will get green just from heating, and you know, the internal organs are starting to spoil. And when that gets green, it's called green belly, and it will, this green color in here, if it was green, would permeate into the skin. And again, fur buyers don't like that because, you know, they think that the skin got too warm, especially if they see it. And if they think the skin got too warm, you know, then they think that you're going to get slippage, right, of the fur. And if you get fur slippage, I mean, that's not good. Nobody wants that. No one wants to buy that. All right, so here, okay, we just make these cuts here because it's getting a little harder. And then what we do is once we get down, you know, as far as we think we can easily, okay, pull. You can see here's a little blood spot. Try not to cut into that too deep, so we're not making a mess with blood everywhere. Okay, once we get the skin low enough down here to the front legs, we're gonna put the clamps on, which all they are is a pair of vice grips, a couple pairs of vice grips on a chain, and then they have some rebarb welded to them, to the jaws, so that you can you get a good grip on the fur without tearing the fur. That's the problem. You got to be real careful, especially if you got younger coyotes with thin skin. You know, you're gonna end up tearing. So, okay, we got down to here. You can see, you know, I can pull some more, possibly. Let me see if I can. That's about it. It's about as tight as it's gonna go, or about as down as it's gonna go. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna roll this fur over like this. You can see, take a bite here, and I'm gonna take my clamps and I'm gonna clamp it to it. And once I got my clamps on it, then we're gonna use the winch to help us pull up the coyote, and the skin will be pulled down and help us skin it immensely. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause right here. I'm gonna lower the coyote. I'm gonna move the camera so you can see how the clamps go on, and then we'll start up. All right, here we are. You can go ahead and see this is the clamp, pair of vice grips, just a 3-inch piece of rebar welded to each of the jaws. And what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and clamp it. I got the chain here on an anchor in the concrete of my garage here, so it's gonna hold. But what we'll do is these chains are a little long right now. What I like to do is I like to spin them just to make them a little shorter if I can. It just gives me more room to pull so I don't end up getting into my ceiling here. So what we'll do is open up them blades, or I should say the jaws. Take this fur, you double it over. You basically stick it in here like this. Okay, get it in there. And obviously it's loose. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten up on the vice grips. Tighten up. Okay. And then go ahead and clamp down. Okay, want to get nice and tight. Then we're gonna move over here to the other side. Okay. And we're gonna do the same thing. Oops, sorry. Gonna do the same thing on this side. Okay, we got another clamp. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just spin it. Get that chain a little tighter. Okay, this gives us more room, like I said. Okay, now here, got that there. Let's see, here's the tail. Don't put it by the tail. You don't want to rip the tail. I'll go right here on the side. This back part here is about the thickest skin, so I need a little more room. Okay, loosen up those jaws again. All right, loosen them up, and then you're going to again feed that skin through, just like this. So you get a nice bite on it. Okay, tighten it up, tighten the jaws. Okay, and then too loose. Okay, gotta make sure it's tight, or else the skin will pull through. All right, you double it up, or else you're gonna end up tearing the skin. Okay, get it to where you need it, right there. All right, so should be tight enough. Now we're gonna go ahead and continue on with the skin, and we'll winch it up, and we'll get going again. So here, I'll get the camera back here. Sorry for any movement. Okay, right there. All right, let me winch up this coyote. Okay, you can see right there we're getting tight, and I'll show you my winch right here. It's simple, you know. It's basically a Milwaukee drill on a worm gear cheapy winch from Harbor Freight. It works, been working for me, so I'm gonna keep using it. But we'll go ahead and get back over here. Go right here. All right, I'll show you the winch here. Here, take a look. You'll see it start pulling the skin. Okay, it's gonna get tight. And you can hear the drill is having a hard time because we're tightening up on the skin. Once you pull on the coyote, you can see now you're exposing this fiber that needs to be cut. So that's all you're gonna do. You're gonna just take that knife very lightly. You don't have to go like tons of pressure. You're gonna want to go ahead and get that skin cut away, because that fiber is what's holding it together. Now once you're there, now what you do is you again, put your knife down. Make sure the skin's pulled over the front legs. Okay, like that, and then continue to pull. And now if you have one of the clamps pull off on the bottom, well, you just got to lower the coyote and put it back on. Right, the main thing is you don't want to have the clamp tearing, through the skin, because I've had that happen one time before on a younger coyote, and what it did was made me a lot more work, because I had to sew it. Okay, so here we go. Again, very lightly. You don't want to cut through too much of this blood spot, because that'll just start dripping blood everywhere. The coyote's dripping blood already from being shot through. It's dripping blood from its mouth. We don't want to, the more blood that gets all over the fur, some more we got to clean. All right, so we got that down. So now we're going to do, again, more pulling. You can see I got about another 1.5 to 2 foot up there on the top. Right here you can see before I run out of room and hit the ceiling. And that should be enough to get us where we need to be. So here, let's it up. Okay, you can feel it tightening up. You don't have to keep pulling. Just like I said, stop. And now what you're doing is you're exposing the front shoulder here. This is the hardest part to skin on a coyote. For one thing, this brisket, for lack of a better word, but its chest right here is very thin skin. And when you're skinning, if you skin, obviously too quickly, or you're not paying attention, you'll end up cutting through this skin, because this is skin right here, okay? And it clings to this, to this brisket here, this chest, and here it is right here. See, I almost put my knife there and cut it. Now, don't worry about leaving too much meat on the skin here, because this meat comes off real easy when you're fleshing. So you don't have to worry. You can just cut. See, we got to cut through here. See, because then you can see how the skin released and pulled down. Okay, right there. You can pull with a little bit of your hand if you have to. You can see here's the skin right here. But then we got this right here in this neck area. You've got to make sure that you don't cut the skin. It's kind of, after you do it a while, you kind of know where the skin is. And like I said, you can't be worried about leaving too much meat, because you're gonna flesh it, and this meat comes off easy. Okay, I mean, if you've never done it before, the meat comes off easy. It's the fat and the the sinew or the fascia that's on the skin. That's the harder stuff to take off. I mean, if it was all as easy to take off as the meat, we'd be done fleshing a lot quicker. All right, so we got here. You can see this here. Okay, we got that. Now I'm gonna just pull on this a little bit, just to give me some more room. Because what I want to do is I want to get between this joint where the armpit is. Okay, I got to get in there with that piece of rebarb I showed you. And what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna end up just pulling the skin down over the front arm, and that makes it the easiest to get off without making too many mistakes, okay? Because if you don't use that rebarb, you end up trying to cut away or cut your way through this part here. You'll end up, making lots of cuts on the neck, and then it's just more cuts that you have to sew, right? I mean, most fur buyers don't like hunters anyway. They would rather have the coyotes trapped. But, it's not as fun to trap them, so a lot more fun to call them in and to shoot them. This leg here is down pretty far. You can see right here the skin. I can get my finger between the armpit here. Okay, that's all I want. And I know that I've got the skin low enough here that I can come through with that winch or with that rebarb and just pull and it'll separate all the skin. So this one here, I still have to do a little bit, okay? And we'll be able to pull a little more with the, you know, and I normally wear gloves. I didn't put them on today, but it's a good idea, obviously, to wear gloves. Okay, this one here is almost done. I'm gonna pull a little more with the winch. We'll see. Then we'll get the rebarb on there. Okay, there we go. It's tight again. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna, again, just make little cuts to loosen that skin from the body. You can see here I'm in that armpit now, okay? And the more blood that's here, obviously, the harder it is to skin, especially if you haven't done it before, because you can't see anything, right? Because there's a lot of blood. And especially if you get a frontal shot here or a shoulder shot that comes through and does a lot of damage, it gets a lot harder to skin, just simply because you can't see what you're doing. Oh, see, I made a cut right there on the front leg. It doesn't matter. Front leg's gonna get cut off anyway, but you don't wanna make unnecessary cuts if you don't have to, okay? You can see there, just screwed up a tad. All right, so now, got that in there, okay, cut here. Okay, so we're loose. So here you can see I got the skin, the neck skin, down to about here, where the armpits are. And then I'm here with the armpit, I can get my finger in there, and we're good. So now we're gonna do this. And this, I saw someone else do this. It's a really great idea, it makes it easy. You take your rebarb, the point, you put it right here where the armpit is. Just make sure you don't, you know, you kind of feel your finger going through there. You don't wanna go through the skin. And what you do is you just poke it through like this. And then what you do is you have this right through here, right? Now what you do is you just pull down on it. When you pull down, you're gonna separate the neck skin from the neck, and it makes it a lot easier to skin. You can see right here, I pull down, it pulled the leg. See, I got this big opening here now. It makes it a lot easier, okay? Now you come over to the other side. I usually go in on this side from here. Okay, now I'm gonna go in this way, just because I got more of an opening here. Okay, right there, you can see I poked through. All right, I got the rebarb in there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull down on this side. Okay, pull. Okay, right there. So now we got it. All right, and have a place where you can put all your stuff. This makes it a lot easier to skin. All right, now we're here. I got the neck. I can do that, get that free. Okay, I can see what I'm doing at least. I've opened it up, and now I'm gonna take the leg. And I take the leg down all the way to about here. The reason is it makes it a lot easier to put on the fleshing beam if you have a smaller hole. And the only way you get a smaller hole on the leg is by skinning the leg further down, okay? And what that does is it allows the skin to not slip down the fleshing beam, and it's a lot easier to just to handle it while it's on the beam. Or else, you know, if it slips through, then you're constantly putting a vice grip on it to hold it. Okay, so here, okay, done. Now basically I come right here, I just cut right like that. Okay, right here, and then once that's done, I pull my leg through, okay? And then I got this skin here. But what we're gonna end up doing is most of this is gonna get cut off when you put it on the drying rack, okay? But for now, it's like I said, it's handy, so we leave it on there. Okay, right here, get this other leg, same thing. Once we get the legs done, this is really the hardest part here, I think, is this getting around the shoulders. It's where you tend to make most of your mistakes if you hurry, and unnecessary cuts that then need to be sewed. Okay, so right here, again, I'm coming down to about, half of the foreleg. Just makes it a lot easier, like I said, with fleshing. Okay, so once that's done right there, okay, make the cut on the skin. Doesn't have to be perfect. All we gotta do is get that leg out. Okay, so once the leg's out, okay, leg's out. All right, now got a little more room. We can pull. Let's pull. Get the head more stretched so we can. Okay, good. We'll come over here. Now we can make some just minor cuts with the knife to keep pulling the the skin down over the head. Okay, right here. And we come here. Okay, you can see the skin. It just wants to roll down because it's got that tension on it. Makes it a lot easier. Trust me, I used to do it without a winch, and I mean, if you're only doing a few coyotes, it's not too bad. But I mean, there's sometimes we go out, we get quite a few at once, and then by doing it with pulleys and a rope, it's a lot harder. This here, is much easier, and it's just quicker. So you're not spending all day skinning and fleshing coyotes. All right, so we got a little more room to pull, so we're gonna do that. You can see here's the head. It's coming. The head's starting to pop out. Okay. Okay, we're gonna pull. All right, that's it. I don't have any more room for the winch up top. That's good though, because we're right where we need to be. Okay, so now I'm just cutting the head free. Okay, you can see just running my knife across here very gently. You don't want to get crazy by pulling too much or by cutting too much, because then you'll end up making a mistake. And you don't have to. I mean, the skin's just going to pull, and you can grab the skin and pull it down right now. All I'm doing right this now is I'm trying to expose the earbuds, okay? And once I have the earbuds exposed, I can make the cut on the ears, which I'm gonna have here in a few minutes, or seconds, I should say. Okay, I'm just making a cut on top of the ear to roll the skin off. Okay, right there. Let me move in a little closer here, just so you guys can see what we're doing. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's the earbud. You can see it kind of sticks out like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knife. I go close to the head. I found if you don't go close to the head, then you get a big hole on the skin, and this cartilage isn't gonna matter. Okay, so you see here's the ear now. I got it separated from the animal's head. I'm gonna do the other one right here. Same thing. I'm gonna go in there, just cut right to the skull. Again, here it is. Once you have it cut, it's easier to get your finger in there. You can really manipulate, the skin a lot better. You can hold it and pull it, and then you can see that, we're getting, some of this fiber here that we're cutting free. Now the head, people might think it's the hardest part. The head's the easiest part to skin. I mean, once you do it once, it's super easy. And you got to just make sure you're careful around the eyes. You don't want to. You don't want to cut through the eyeball, because if you do, the fluid in there ends up squirting on you, and you don't want to do that. So see, now I know the eye was there, but basically I just cut with my knife and I exposed the eye. So then I go in here slowly like this, and I want to get this whole eyelid. Again, doesn't matter. No, fur buyers care less about the eyelid, but you know what? It just looks nice. So I get my finger inside the ear socket again. I pull down, and you can see right here. Let me see if I can get it in here better. Okay, you can see right here's the eye. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a cut, and there you can see the eyelid starting to expose. Okay, right there. Okay, right here. Okay, yeah, I may have made a little bit. There we go, right there. Okay, separate that. Okay, once that's done, okay, boom, you get the eye out, the eye free. And now you got to start working on the mouth, right? So here's the mouth. You can see here's the lips. Okay, once I got that, I can just get my finger in there. Makes it a lot easier. So, and I can pull down. Okay, now I'm going to come to this side so I can stay even. Again, you can see here's the mouth. So I make the cut to expose the gums. Once the gums are exposed, I can get in there and I can pull. Now, do the lips have to come out perfect? No. You know why? Because when you're putting it on the drying rack, you end up cutting the lips off anyway. Because the lips are pretty thick and they end up taking too long to dry. And so we, you know, there's no need. There's no need. This coyote looked like he was hurt there. Okay, so there's no need to leave them on. Fur buyers care less about the lips. I mean, the fur buyer obviously didn't even care about the head. Okay, but you need the head on there because the head is what holds it on the drying rack, right? Or your wire, drying boards wire. So, you know, you get that there. Okay, so here again, we're working, you know, the skin down over the nose. We're gonna be down to the nose here in a little bit. I try to get a lot of the cartilage out just because then the nose dries better. You know, and you know, it's important to leave some of the head on. I mean, obviously leave the head on because, you know, sometimes you can get more money, you know, selling your hides to a, see, here's the nose. Let's take it out. Come right here, there it is. You could sell your hides for a lot more money sometimes to just to people who want them for crafts or want to make a rug or a throw. And, you know, and they want to have the nose on. I mean, they want to have, you know, a nice face. But, I mean, leaving the lips on really doesn't matter because they get all curled up anyway. And typically, I just go down to about right here. You know, you don't have to skin that whole lower lip off because if you do, you got to open the mouth to get underneath those teeth. And there's no need for it because you're going to end up cutting that lower lip off anyway. So you just basically get to that point and then right here. And now you got your hide. Let me go ahead and I need to unhook it from the unhook the hide from the clamps. Let me do that real quick down here, and then we'll be done with this coyote. And I got to do one more, and then we're good. So here we go. Got the clamps out. Doesn't damage the skin. Okay, if you do it like I said, you know, by wrapping. But here's the skin. It's done. It's off. Typically, I'll invert it because I'm gonna have to clean it anyway. And you want to always wash your skins. I use Dawn detergent. Use other stuff, but you know, I think the Dawn detergent's the best because what it does is it takes off the all the grease and the dirt. But here you go. You can see nice coyote skin. It's got nice fur. It's got nice neck fur. It's got good guard hairs here. Its mane is intact. It's not no rubs. This fur is a decent fur. Okay, unfortunately, you know, this year fur prices are down, but they'll come back. Okay, so right here. So that's it. That's ready for the wash tub. I'll put it in the wash tub and we'll be done. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll also flesh this coyote here shortly. Once it's cleaned and dried a little bit, and I'll show you guys how to flesh it. So should be interesting. All right, thanks for watching so far. See you later.